Magnus is flew in from Sweden. He's the president. He's giving a talk on Windows in the Enterprise. If any of you are looking to run Windows, please visit the talk. Andrew Dunstan is actually a committer. He actually showed up here at 6:30 this morning to help us set all this up for you folks. As did Jeff Davis, Stephen Frost. Who else am I missing? Andy, where are you, Andy? Andy. Thanks for coming. This is the second of the series. The series is East and West. West will happen in October again. It happened last October. Okay. Conference is 2 days and 3 rooms. That's a growth from West. West was only 1 day, 1 room. So we're definitely seeing growth there. Anyway, this is PostgreSQL Conference 2008, University of Maryland, College Park. Any students or profs here yet? Excellent. Student or prof? Student? Student? Welcome. Thank you for coming. Invite your friends. Sponsors. ManPrompt, who I work for. Enterprise DB. Okay. Bruce. Bruce, is anyone else here from Enterprise DB? Yeah. Who are you guys? I know Bruce. Everybody. I'm Corey. Hi, Corey. Yeah.
Peter.
Hi, Peter. How you doing?
Doing good, thanks. Yeah.
Good. Your mug, your beautiful mug, has their logo all over it. Please taint it with any alcoholic beverage and coffee that you like after my talk. Okay. Affiliates. Affiliates is the .info registrar. We have a couple people from Affiliates. Dan and Jan, or 3. Dan, Jan, Chris are all from Affiliates. Continuing, 3.5. Who's the half? Andrew. Andrew's not with Affiliates anymore.
That's why it's got
the legacy. Legacy dependency? Yeah, Andrew, raise your hand, Andrew. He's also with Command Prompt. Continuing, who was with Continuing? Robert. Robert will be giving a talk on scaling out and benchmarks, right? Right. Something like that. Did anyone from OTG show? Oh, yeah, hey, Robert. Well, you're new with OTG. You're that half, you know. OTG, they do PostgreSQL training. If you guys want in-classroom training and you don't want to pay my ridiculous rates, they're the people to go to. Sun Micro, we had a couple from Sun, don't we? Sun Microsystems sponsoring, we got 1 speaker. I can't say your name, I'm sorry.
Jignesh.
Jignesh. Anyone else from Sun? I know Burkus couldn't make it. Oh, hey, Vivek. Treviso, where are you, Greg? Greg was out with us until 1:30 in the morning drinking. He's decided not to be here on time, apparently. That's Treviso. Great people, contributors to the community. They are currently sponsoring a feature. How many of you know about the problem with open transactions in vacuum? All right, that's going away. They're sponsoring that feature. Xtuple. Ned? Or you guys? Oh, that's right. We got 3 Xtuple folks. They do ERP/accounting, right?
Yep.
Sort of. Okay. This little graphic here, all due respect to University of Maryland folks who gave us this great facility. Find some art, people. They couldn't find us a vector graphic. That's the best we could do. That is University of Maryland in there, kind of, sort of. Okay. And in Miami, Kim, where are you?
I'm here.
Kim in the back, Kim Hatcher. Miami is an avid PostgreSQL user, and they decided to also sponsor this conference, which is great. During this talk, if you have any questions, interrupt me, please. I am here to answer anything that I can during this period, okay? Doesn't matter what it is. PostgreSQL, the world's most advanced open source database, and the state of the community. We're organizing legal life. For a long time, except for the Japanese, who are apparently way ahead of everybody else, they started a nonprofit in 2000, JPUG. They are the largest single organized body of PostgreSQL users that we know of in the world. They're very active, very organized, very structured, and they have pushed PostgreSQL into places in Japan that we don't even know about. We just see patches sometimes. In 2005 came French. I wish JPA could have made it. Jean-Paul couldn't. 2006 came SPI, Software in the Public Interest. That is the affiliated American nonprofit for PostgreSQL.org as a whole. That's actually where all of your lovely donations and sponsorships, where they all shoveled into. 2007 came the Italians. They have it together amazingly well. Not only did they incorporate it into a nonprofit, they also ran one of the only dedicated PostgreSQL conferences last year, which was called PG Day IT. Quite a few people went. David, you went, right? Anybody else go to PG Day IT? Just you, David?
Yeah.
Robert?
I was there.
Great. Oh, cool, Magnus. Yeah, but Magnus, that was like a pond jump for you. In 2008, the regions got it together. PostgreSQL.eu. We'll talk about them in a moment. And PostgreSQL.us. PostgreSQL.us launched last month. PostgreSQL EU. Their purpose, we're going to facilitate, not we, I'm not in Europe, as they remind me occasionally. They facilitate the work for user groups around Europe, not EU. This is not European Union. Okay, this is all of Europe, Western Russia, right, as well. Okay. In particular, smaller groups that don't have the resources. The idea is the regional group is not an authority, but more of a structured body to help the smaller groups should they need it. It's just a support infrastructure. Act as a user group for European countries that don't have it. If you're in, I don't know, Denmark, although Denmark has one, and you don't have a PostgreSQL user group, you as a community member can join PostgreSQL EU and participate in that way and be affiliated in that way. Assist in coordination of production, distribution of the flyers, folders, t-shirts, everything you've got in here now. Okay? The idea is Europe and America as well is so diverse, you can't have 40 different people shoveling flyers to one country or one state or another. Okay, you need a central coordinated point for your resources. PostgreSQL EU. European level advocacy and marketing is a complement to the national ones there today. I keep forgetting Europe is actually countries. So individual global marketing and advocacy. PostgreSQL US, like all good American things, we've tried to do it bigger and better, and we'll hopefully not fail. PostgreSQL.us, support the PostgreSQL Community Conference Series, East and West, just like this. It is not taking over the conference series. The nonprofit, just like PostgreSQL EU, is a support infrastructure only. So if anyone in here wanting to run their own little conference, they're in the United States, they could come to PostgreSQL US and ask for help. Okay. Continue establishing PG days like those at OSCON and Linux World. At OSCON last year, we had a PG day, a single day. They gave us a room. We ran some talks, got some community together. You know, just general overall technology dump. Linux World, same thing. At Linux World, it's going to be big. For some reason, they gave us a room that seats 400 people. So all of you, call all your friends and fly out to the West Coast in August, please. 400 people, or 200 in a classroom setting. Linux World is actually interesting. I know that OSCON is kind of the geek conference that we all go to if we're going to go to a geek conference. But Linux World / IDG has made some aggressive moves this year to explicitly support open source beyond Linux. They gave rooms to OpenOffice.org, as well as Open Voting Consortium, PostgreSQL, and I actually don't remember the other one, even though I was involved in it, unfortunately. We're going to try and establish a grant program to sponsor the advocacy and development of PostgreSQL. Think PostgreSQL Summer of Code. Okay, instead of Google Summer of Code, PostgreSQL Summer of Code. We want our resources to be coming back into the community, not just floundering out in whatever research project that Google wants to pay for. Work with international PostgreSQL organizations to achieve common goals. PostgreSQL EU, PostgreSQL IT, JPUG. We want the Brazilian one that's in the process of being built. We want to make sure that we are all coordinating to send the same message where appropriate. Establish and support user groups in all major areas of the United States. This is key for the United States group. We want user groups everywhere. I don't care if you have 2 people. I don't care if you're getting together on a Saturday to have Starbucks before you take a run. Call it a user group meeting, talk about an SQL query, go take your job. It needs to be on the site. We need a dominant presence because we don't have venture capital. We don't have a company behind the community. So the community as a whole needs to organize. Create free curriculum for PostgreSQL. This is one of my personal things that I want to see happen. I want curriculum for anyone to be able to pick up in the spirit of the MIT Open Curriculum, whatever, to learn PostgreSQL. Right now, PostgreSQL's documentation is great as a reference. The tutorials, okay. We need real curriculum that people can understand, digest, and learn from in a practical manner. And it needs to be free. Establish regularly scheduled workshops for PostgreSQL, half day, 2 hours, run a tutorial, whatever you need to do. There's plenty of places. Any college with a phone call will give you a room, if there is not a class in it, for PostgreSQL for free in America. Apparently you have to pay in Canada. But in America you can get it for free. So what does this mean for PostgreSQL? Are we not growing? Absolutely not. This is Debian's booth at OSCON. This is not what we want to see. Okay? It's time to step up and fight big budgets with enthusiastic and engaging volunteers. That's how you do it. It's the people factor. That's us at OSCON. That's the difference. We were blogged about by MySQL because they were so embarrassed that we looked like that. Not sure how that came out. Actually, it's just Josh that blogged about. He's the one that stands out. Okay, every PostgreSQL community event must be a sea of blue and army of Smurfs. That is a strong term. Okay? Josh, it's time to put that PostgreSQL shirt version in the sock drawer. That thing is old. I don't know why he wore it. Just for reference, Robert Bernier. David Feder, that's a peace sign, honestly. Okay? This is Alvaro Herrera. The lady on the end is Selena. She's not in here right now. Josh Burkus in the hat. Jim Nasby in the back. I am not actually taller than Jim Nasby. He's leaning down. He's like 7'4". Robert Treat. Are you in here, Robert? Robert back in the corner. Michael Brewer. Chris Travers. And I can't remember who the guy in the middle between Robert and David is.
He was from MySQL.
Oh, was he from MySQL? No wonder I don't remember his name. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Isn't that no profit?
I honestly, it might be. I don't know. All right, because there's never enough. This was last night. If you didn't come to the get-together last night, you missed out. One, even though it's not David Federer's birthday, I made sure everyone thought it was. He was sung to. He was given free ice cream. He now wears and owns a sombrero. Elements to growth. This is growth in the community. How do we continue? There is no reference for this graph. I just created an offsite backup from images.google.com or something like that. The point is growth. We have community, developers, education, infrastructure, and goals. Goals is not a hippie term, folks. Goals. I'm not going to stand up here and say the word superlative and you will succeed in life. But we need goals. Community. A community must exist beyond the main body. Similar communities that have expanded have shown significant growth in all areas. Apache is a perfect example. Apache used to be a ripoff of an NCSA web server because it just didn't do what they wanted. Now they are a huge global powerhouse of software. Everybody wants to use Apache something for something. It may be Jakarta, it may be Lucene, it may be, I think even Spam Assassin is an Apache program, or project. Now, hi Melanie, can I have my coffee?
So much for trying to find your time.
No, I smelled it the moment you entered the building.
You screwed it up, but you got extra caffeine. I figured that's all right.
I don't need any more caffeine, ever. Thank you. Melanie? Folks, Andrew Duxton's wife.
Round of applause.
Careful what you wish for there, Melanie. All right. The main body must support and encourage growth of secondary projects. This is what Apache does. Apache has a defined process, and number one, I am not suggesting we enter the bureaucracy that is Apache, okay? I'm using them as a positive example of coordination, that is all. But this is what Apache does. If you can apply to be an Apache project, and by achieving certain goals in their process, you get to officially be affiliated and make use of their resources, which are huge. And if you want to succeed in their particular world, it's very good to be associated with them. Examples of secondary projects from the main body: Sloaney. I know we have some Sloaney people in here. I see one. Jan, stand up. Stand up, Jan. This is the man who saved and at the same time made all of our lives complicated with Sloaney.
But that wasn't the goal.
That wasn't the goal, that's true.
Don't be my face. Back the point.
All right, PL Proxy. This is kind of a pet secondary project of mine. I don't develop it. Skype actually developed it. It allows for horizontal partitioning within PostgreSQL, remote node access, things like that. It's very cool. Ledger SMB. This is a really good example of a secondary project. It has nothing to do with PostgreSQL except for one minor thing that no one else has figured out is a good idea. It's the only database it supports. None of this Drupal, I want to be your friend, support every database in the world and do every one of them badly. Okay? Well, and to be honest, Ledger SMB doesn't support PostgreSQL that well, but it only supports PostgreSQL. It picked one platform and is trying to excel as a piece of software for that platform. Ruby PG, Jeff. Stand up, Jeff. Jeff Davis, can you stand up, Jeff?
He's still recovering from last night.
Jeff Davis took, how many of you guys are Rails developers? Wow, you're brave. Don't clap for bravery. Okay. Jeff has gone about fixing the Ruby PG driver for PostgreSQL. In a very short period of time, it will most likely be the most complete driver that PostgreSQL has, except for C. Over Perl, over Python, even though there are good drivers for Perl and Python, it's going to support the most features, be the most complete, and be the most actively developed.
We'll see about that.
Hey,
Competition
is good. If you, which language are you talking about? Okay, but yeah. No, but so far, no. I mean, obviously the DBD driver is good. I mean, it's a solid, well-designed driver, but he's moving fast. So you got
Well, in the competition.
That's right. Okay, PLO code. I'm not going to talk too much about this because there's actually a talk that talks about this, but this is a secondary project. PLO code is what happens when geeks get bored. All right. Replicator. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but it's a replication engine for PostgreSQL.
When are you opening the source?
Oh, couldn't you have waited for the slide?
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Yeah, we'll do it. It's being opened soon. Give me about 12 slides. Okay, community part 2. I think that's the German one, I think. Linux would be nothing but an interesting personal research project without users. That is key. What are your goals for the community? If your goal is, let's develop a really cool database, I don't care if anybody uses it, all right, fair enough, please do. Okay, the community's grown beyond that. We need to take into account everyone that is using the database. For growth of PostgreSQL to continue, the community as a whole must be considered. I think that's green. No, Japanese is Chinese. 99% of the community is outside of @PostgreSQL.org. This is vital for people to understand, especially us contributors. As contributors, a lot of us have a tendency kind of just to only look at ourselves because we've got all of our little mini projects that we're doing to move the community forward. If we want our community to grow at an accelerated rate, people need to know who to talk to, They need to know what projects are available, not just code projects. I had a gentleman by the name of Paul Rivers contact me last week. His only question was, I don't even know where to begin. I'm not a C programmer, but I want to help. So we had a conversation back and forth. What?
Oh, is that the one I was tasking?
No, this is,
Oh, sorry.
and we talked back and forth, and this guy's actually going to fix a major deficiency in the website, which is our ability to manage the software listings. All the software listings are currently static. They're not databased. We seem to don't have a database. But yeah, they're statically within HTML, right? So he's going to fix that for us, because it's something he can contribute to the community as a user. All right? This was also last night. I couldn't help it because fresh margaritas, I mean, come on. Developers. Developers, no question, are most important to the product body. When I talk about the product body, I'm talking about what you download and run. Or install RPM or whatever. Okay? However, they are only one part of the community body. All of us, even I, who I am not a C hacker, but I could certainly pretend to be a programmer. I've done it on many occasions. And it's important that we not divert all of our intellectual resources into code. This is open source, and especially PostgreSQL, in my opinion anyway, is fundamentally a human thing that must be addressed. Developers are needed for any community to grow, absolutely. We always need more developers. I am not suggesting please send us 1 million more users without at least another 1,000 developers. We need more developers. And on that, have you reviewed a patch? I know that there is at least 20 people in here that haven't, but should be reviewing patches. That is the #1 way right now that you can help PostgreSQL, because we got lots of people who love to develop and send us a patch, very few that are willing to do the due diligence afterwards. And that is absolutely vital if you want the product to continue. Because we're not going to accept patches, Bruce, we're not going to accept patches that haven't been reviewed, right? And they gotta be, and there's only a handful of people currently doing it. Developers part, I think that's Portuguese. I don't remember. Did you know that only 200 companies donated $100 a month? $100 a month. I spend more than that on Starbucks. Okay. The PostgreSQL community could support, including stipends for health insurance and taxes, 2 senior hackers full-time. We're talking about 2 guys not trying to make salary plus contribute to the community. We're talking about people that are all day long hacking the code. Did you know that if 1,000 community members donated $36 a month, and that math is a little low in the second one, we could sponsor an additional 2 senior hackers? Now, I'm not trying to guilt you into giving money. It's just a point of how easy it is to add resources to the community. There are only 3 hackers currently active on PostgreSQL report. Tom Lane, if you don't know who Tom Lane is, you don't know this community very well. Who's Tom Lane?
He's not here.
Who said that?
He's too busy.
Yeah, he's too... Okay, we actually think that Tom Lane is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different people. Because there's the only way that he can get all the stuff that he gets done. Peter Eisenstraut, he's in Germany, right? And Dave Page. He's in the UK. That's Korean. That one I know. Developers Part 3. Did you know that oh, this is my favorite. Did you know that if Sun Microsystems had donated just 10% of the monies paid to MySQL, PostgreSQL instead, 20 full-time hackers for 20 years. Let's talk about smart spending of money, people. I know that they're a sponsor, no offense. Okay.
Well, I could use that slide if you send it to me.
I want you to think about it. We're talking about 10% of the money that they spent. 20 full-time hackers. We don't have 20 full-time hackers now. For 20 years with an aggregate total compensation of $250,000 a year.
I'm not an annuity.
There you go. definitely look different. But yeah, I mean, 20 years. All the smaller companies in here, think about that. Education. I don't think anyone can argue with this. Open source came out of education. Education is the root of open source. The future growth of our community relies on our ability to educate DBAs, thus free curriculum. Right? I know there's some training people that cringe at the idea of free curriculum. Free curriculum doesn't mean the person's able to learn. You can still teach. Workshops. Half-day workshop. You know, grab a room. Introduction to PostgreSQL, introduction to SQL, introduction to how to make Solaris work. I'll take that from you. Okay? I can teach. And you learn. I can learn. I can learn it very quickly. Tutorials. Online tutorials, folks. Right now, and we actually, the community's work moving in this direction. If you can believe it, PostgreSQL now has a wiki. For anyone who was part of that argument for the last 10 years, we now have a wiki. Okay?
Facebook yet?
No Facebook. The moment we start doing Facebook, let's just move somewhere else. English sounds good.
There is a Facebook, well.
All right? Look, tutorials online are very important. Number one question in channel. In channel means our IRC channel. No, our IRC channel is not all about pornography and free software that's illegal. Our IRC channel is actually a professional place to go and get support live. Some of the smartest people in this community attend that channel. One of the number one questions is, I just installed PostgreSQL using, pick your favorite Linux distribution, and when I say PSQL, I get, and they get an ident error. Because by default, you must be the Postgres user in these distributions to log into Postgres. And when you have, let's say, a normal Ubuntu user, the fact that they're in a shell at all is a surprising event. A tutorial would be nice to have to fix that. It'd take one person 1 hour to write, we could point them to the link, and they would be on their way and happy instead of frustrated and ready to throw their laptop across the room. Conferences, well, you're at one. One-day conferences, two-day conferences, week-long conferences. In 5 years, we should be able to have PostgreSQL World. 500, 700, 1,000 people within 5 years. There's no reason we can't do that. Talks. I'm trying to give one now. Most of you will attend at least 10 for the next 2 days. Talking anywhere. It doesn't have to be here. Talk at PHP events. If you hate PHP, all the better. Show them the light. I don't care if you get thrown tomatoes at. All right, I'm speaking at MySQL Con in 2 weeks. My topic is what MySQL can learn from PostgreSQL. And don't think I'm going to hold back.
I was at a PHP conference and your name came up about that.
Oh, good. Hopefully people will show up and be only throwing soft things. All right? All the above are vital to the education of a wider community. Let's face it. You got to save people from rabid dolphins, people. They're dangerous. Education part, really. That is Swahili for two. I know this is a little small for you people in the back, but I was too lazy to make multiple slides with bigger fonts. 2006, PostgreSQL had its first PostgreSQL conference, the 10th anniversary in Toronto, organized on the ground by Andrew Sullivan. That was a huge conference. How many people did we have there? Since I didn't go. Yeah, you. How many?
160.
Bruce? How many?
20, 160.
20, 160?
No, 120 maybe.
120, 160? I think it's 2,000. I was like, there was not 2,000 people there. Yeah, but 120, 160. It was a 10th year anniversary.
It wasn't 160.
It wasn't 160? But over 100?
Yeah.
All right. You got 100 people to go to Canada. Not bad.
Okay.
I know there are several Canadians in the room.
things being thrown.
Yeah, there are. Okay, that's 3. Is there 4? Dan, well, you're not technically in Canada anymore, right?
None of us are technically in Canada.
Well, there you go. Well,
It's New Zealand.
in 2007, PostgreSQL had its first dedicated commercial conference. Dan McGill did an excellent job. PGCon in Ottawa, that's coming up again, right? In May 22nd?
Something like that.
Okay.
I'd have to check.
I think it's the 22nd because I can't go because it's my daughter's birthday. In 2007, PostgreSQL had its first dedicated community conferences. PG Day IT and West. West was held in Portland, PG Day IT was in Italy, Prato, I think. In the first quarter of 2008, there are already 8 planned PostgreSQL only conferences. No tainting from other products. We're focusing on our community, and we're growing that community through that dedication. We've got East, you're at it. PGCon UK, that's in, what, 3 days? April 2nd. PGCon Ottawa in May. There's going to be actually a developers meeting, actual PostgreSQL contributor developers meeting there. PDX Pug Day at OSCON, that was like the PG Day that was talking about at OSCON last year. LWE PG Day at OSCON, at Linux World, that's in August. That's one that we're hoping to really bring in a lot of new community members. Linux World is stuffed with all kinds of people wearing ties, spending too much money on advertising. We want to get them refocused on the community and the products that they're trying to use. West in Portland, that's October. To be determined on whether it's 1 day, 2 day, or any of that. But it will be on a weekend again, so it's easy to get in and out. PG Day IT, that's in October as well. And PGCon EU, which is obviously PostgreSQL Conference Europe, that is also to be determined.
There will also be a PG Day in France.
Is there a PG Day in France
There
coming
will
up?
be a PG Day in France. They haven't decided on the date, but it will be September, October, November.
Okay, I haven't heard that from Jean-Paul yet, but excellent, even better. Anybody else know of any that are going on? No? Community-led events are the key to educating new and existing community. When you go to OSCON, you can go to a talk on PostgreSQL, or you can go to a talk on Ruby on Rails, or you can go to a talk on, whatever, pick your favorite technology. But if you go to a PostgreSQL event, you're going to learn all about PostgreSQL. Not just cool stuff it can do, like SQL XML, but external things that you can use it for, and find ways to implement new technologies in your infrastructure. Have you considered holding a one-day workshop? Noticing a theme here? Infrastructure. Communication infrastructure is vitally important to the growth of a community. The days of cowboy open source are over. Okay, we can't do this 1999, 2000, I notice everyone here, well, most of us, have normal haircuts. That's just where it is now. Businesses have entered the fray. Some call it bureaucracy. It's not bureaucracy. Having points of contact, having people that you can look at and say, I know why I need to talk to you, or I don't know who I need to talk to, can you help me, is important. Mailing lists don't work for this. You cannot expect a normal user to log in and troll through 1,000 messages a week. Yes, I counted them. Okay, not literally, I have a little number in my inbox. 1,000 messages a week just on the public mailing lists to potentially get flamed for asking a simple question. They need to be able to come to a community member or a person, somebody, and say, hey, I want to help. Where can I get resources for this? How can I do that? We experienced exponential growth in user group initiations since we added a single point of contact for that task. Selena Deckelman, I submitted her to be the PostgreSQL user group liaison 4 months ago. Since that time, we've added almost a dozen user groups that didn't exist. We launched LA in February. There's one in Florida. There's one starting up in Jersey. There's one in Philly. There's one in a bunch of international ones that's cropped up out of nowhere. And a lot of these already existed, but we didn't know about it, which means the rest of the community didn't know about it. And now we do, because we have a single person that's coordinating those communication efforts. think. I know we got one Russian guy in here. Is that right? Is that Russian?
Yeah.
Is that 3 or 2?
No, it just says,
No, it's
it says in
Russian.
Russian.
In Russian.
Oh, well. I don't think Babel, because I didn't pretend, I just said, Babel, show me 2. Highlight, paste. Okay.
Yeah, but you said 2 in Russian, and Babel just translated the in Russian part.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jan. PostgreSQL.org has 100% of its infrastructure donated. We have a worldwide infrastructure. These are not 486 PCs linked together with serial cables. We have serious machines serving serious infrastructure with serious redundancy, and we don't pay for any of it. In Russia. In Russia, our machines own you. Okay? PostgreSQL infrastructure is global. We have servers in the United States, South America, and Europe. And there's some, I think that covers all of them, right? There's none in Japan, right? That we know of.
Sure, no.
Okay? I know we have them in Europe, we've got them in France, we've got them in the UK, we've got them in Italy, in the United States, we've got them in Portland, California, a couple back east, I don't remember exactly, or New Jersey, a couple in New Jersey.
Central America.
Yep, and Central America. Main website, www.postgresql.org, and the primary software distribution points are globally mirrored across dozens of hosts. Part 3, collaboration. This is something we're still working on. Email is still the primary collaborative platform for the community. Unfortunately, email is not a collaborative platform. We have jabber.postgresql.org. That is used internally for contributors. We've considered opening it up. But mainly it's used, for example, the sysadmin team to communicate about issues with sysadmin that are happening on servers live when a ticket isn't good enough or an email isn't good enough. Or Magnus and I, where did Magnus go? Magnus and I communicate on what's going on with various conferences or the website or the latest patch that we're going to submit or whatever. Pound PostgreSQL, that's the main channel. At any given point, you're going to have approximately 370 members there, all technical, all asking or answering various levels of technical questions.
No, 90% of them are silent.
What was that?
I said 90% of them are silent, but
That's true. PostgreSQL US, new channel for PostgreSQL.us, PostgreSQL EU, new channel for PostgreSQL EU. They're both advocacy channels. Basically, how can I participate in the community? What's going on with PostgreSQL US or PostgreSQL EU right now, those types of things. Lists. I know at least half of us are on these lists. General, hackers, www advocacy. Bruce and I were having a conversation last week, and if you incorporate only the public lists, we're just talking about public lists that anyone can join and participate on, it's 4,300 messages a month and going up every single day. So pick your list wisely. Okay, it's a lot of information to try and track. And the wiki, like I said, wiki.postgresql.org, it is finally launched. We used to have a TechDoc site, which was kind of a how-to site. It's a little cumbersome, sorry Magnus. So we moved it all to the wiki, and we're starting to see a lot of generated content. Goals! Who's groaning about goals? The most successful communities, whether commercial, non-commercial, organized, or loosely formed, have a mission. They have goals. They have a purpose. In April 2004, Mark Shuttleworth launched Ubuntu. Only 3 years ago. 4 years ago, I guess. In 4 years. There we go. In 4 years, because Mark Shuttleworth had a defined goal, a defined purpose, and he stuck to it. A lot of money. And a lot of money. But we have more contributors.
We don't have any space tours to.
We don't have any space tours, that's true. Yeah, but because of the goal, they are now one of the single most widely distributed Linux distributions in the world, if not the largest for desktops. There's no way to actually prove that, but I mean, if you look on all the download site statistics, they are number one by far. Even burying Fedora, which used to be humongous. And it's free. Unlike our number one competitor. Can an elephant do such a thing? Goal number 1, expand the community. Community as a whole, developers, users, teachers, students, everybody. If there is someone in this world that needs to use a database, they should be using PostgreSQL and occasionally SQLite, just not the Dolphin. And don't pay for Oracle. It's not working. Sorry. Expansion. Add mentoring contacts. These are those contacts I was talking about. People that can mentor new community members so that they are not intimidated by the contributor inclusion. People need to be able to email a person and say, hey, Theo, can you help me with X? And Theo can say, hell no, I'm too busy, but so-and-so can. They need a point of contact. It's fundamentally a human thing. Mailing lists aren't human. It's a bunch of text flying back and forth about various levels of technical content that most of the people that are looking for the help don't even understand. Goal 2, excellence in technology. We have that. But let's not stop. Most of the features PostgreSQL has added in recent releases are also has or fixes for limitations, which is good. Obviously, we don't want to divert from having features that other databases have or fixing limitations within the current core product. That's obviously important. But we need to think beyond that. What is going to drive the next generation of PostgreSQL users? Yes, it's important that we have SQL XML. There is no question that's a vital feature. Hot was a huge contribution. It helps us scale on certain types of workloads more than we ever could before 8.3. But we got to push the envelope. Goal 3, make our own path. Stop following Oracle. Stop following DB2. Yes, it's kind of crappy that we don't have recursive queries yet. But what can we do beyond recursive queries? What SQL 2003 features do they not have that we need to get implemented? What about full disjunction? Which a lot of people don't even understand. But it's a very cool feature that if we got it cleaned up and put into the database, I think only DB2 has it. If even that, I don't even know. So making our own path. It's time for the community to define what is hot, what is cool, what is next. DB 2.0. Yeah, it's dumb, it's marketing, but it's what people read. Why do you think people flock to Ruby on Rails? Do you think it's because it's a good technology? No! Active Record has to be one of the worst possibly developed ORMs in history. But people use it because on the website, you go to Ruby on Rails and you can be a PHP developer, you can click a video, and in 30 minutes you built an application. They make the barrier of entry to the technology nothing. And because of that, they have an army of people that are moving their community forward. Now, obviously, we want to manage that because we don't want an army of people going out making us look like fools. But the army is still there. What was that?
Too late.
Too late?
We're already on our mission.
We're already on our mission.
To look like fools? Is that our mission?
Yeah, that's right. Look like fools. If you're willing to look like a fool and say it,
You had a pub last night.
hey now, I wasn't the one wearing the sombrero.
No.
I know a lot of this is kind of marketing geek speak, but it's important to the community. I mean, there's a lot of super geeks in here that can really give a flying donkey butt about this, and I appreciate that. But the super geeks, it's the guys that aren't the super geeks that make sure that the super geeks get to do what they're really good at, which is hacking that code. Lastly, in 2008, an open source PostgreSQL distribution, not core, will have integrated replication. That is set to be released in April. That is Replicator. It is currently closed source. It is being open source. You will be able to download it and you will have integrated 100% backward compatibility, free replication with the core product. In 2008, you will have the opportunity for free PostgreSQL training. OTG has committed to a couple of classes that won't compete with their core class groups. Basically workshops. Ma'am Prump will be giving some workshops. I'm hoping other people with training facilities sitting in the front row that recently shaved their head might offer a free workshop. Maybe. In 2008, you will awake to a new world without dolphins. Probably not. They just got $1 billion. But luckily, only about 200 million of that actually went to MySQL. The rest went to the shareholders. So we don't have nearly as much money as they think. Tomorrow, you're going to be able to ask any question you like from myself as president of PostgreSQL US, or Magnus Hagender as president of PostgreSQL EU, or Bruce Momjen as lead integrator. Okay, even Josh is calling you that now. Lead integrator of PostgreSQL.org. The idea here is all of you who don't know us, ask anything you want. We're also going to attempt to do it on channel. We're going to see if we can get some of the Europeans to participate from PostgreSQL EU. Some of Andreas from Germany, Jean-Paul from France, and just try and get all the community to communicate for 90 minutes, answer some questions, get some content back. Yellow. I think that's it. That's it. Thank you. Have a good day. No, that is not, that's his laptop. My laptop can't do this because the projector can't handle my resolution. All right, we started a little bit late, so it's a 5-10 minute break or so, and then please feel free to move on to your